thanks for that, Nate. I don't know what I'm going to talk about now. Holy cow. That was a nice introduction. So,
can you see?
Yeah, where to from there?
How do you see?
So I got thinking as we were sitting over at the Bowery, it's always really surreal for me to come back here because I have such fond memories of this place. So first off, it is an honor to come here, and thanks for letting me share this evening with you. When did you guys get here?
Last night. Yeah, last night.
So last night for most of you? Staff the night before? Yeah. Okay. I remember the model and how it works somewhat, but a few years have passed, and I found gray hair on my head the other day, and it creeped me out. But we were talking. Oh yeah, it's gone now. The tweezers went after it, and I attacked it. But I've been dealing with diabetes for 22 years now, and man, it's weird how fast it goes. But I really want to talk about just how cool it is to be here with you guys, and this ground and this experience. It's truly sacred for me. Just the times that I've had here, the friendships that I've made. Like Nate said, it goes way back. And what's so fun about it, and I noticed this when I was coming here as a camper and as a counselor and staff, it's weird the way you can pick up right where you left off, and literally years and years can go by, and these friendships are special, so cherish this. What I wanted to talk about tonight is, yes, I have a project called The Truth in Diabetes, and I'll talk about that a little bit later, but I really felt like I wanted to talk about life in general, more than I wanted to talk about my project. I'll tell you about that a little bit later. What I wanted to talk about tonight is I want to talk about the mind. Okay, we talk an awful lot about our bodies and diabetes and how diabetes can do everything from trashing your body to pretty much taking you out of this existence. But I started thinking about it one day, and I had this thought, and I thought, so diabetes in some ways is also a prison of the mind too. Now there's some things we can control, there's some things that we can't control. Can we control the fact that we have diabetes? No. Not really. Can we control how we think about it and what we do, our thoughts, our feeling towards it? So there's this group of monks, and I'm not going to be too long-winded tonight, so I hope you guys don't fall asleep on me. I'll try and be brief here. There's this group of monks that hang out in the Himalayas, okay? Anybody know there's a monastery down the street here? Anybody been to that monastery while you've been up here? They used to do cool stuff like make honey and bread that would never smuggle into camp. But it was really good stuff. But anyway, these monks, they hang out in the Himalayas and they meditate, okay? So who wants to give me the definition of meditation? Anyone brave? We have a brave soul.
Like clearing your mind and just kind of...
Okay, that's good. This is an audience participation show. And I'm going to tell you something. Like I said, I've been doing this for 22 years, but I retaught myself a valuable lesson today. Because something says it's sugar-free, it doesn't mean it really is. So I went and I had a long visit with Sherry, and she wrote down carbs for me as far as what you need the bolus for. So I have minty, I have caramel, I have peanut butter.
I'm okay.
You're okay?
Stuff
doesn't sit well with you. I get it. Cool.
Gives me the Hershey squirts.
I know a really nice tree right over there.
Nice job, Joe.
What's that?
The awareness exercise.
The awareness exercise?
No matter how gross it is.
Where you put it in your mouth and you just lips it.
No. No, I was just really looking for, I'm looking for participation, and I tend to reward it with things that are good. These are actually pretty good, but we'll hook you guys up later. So anyway, meditation. It's an exercise of the mind. It's taking your mind and your awareness of yourself and your situation from one place to another. So what's cool about how these guys meditate is they do it up in the Himalayas. Anybody know what the elevation is here, roughly? Anybody know?
4,000?
8,000? 15,000. So take it up another 7,000 feet. These guys hang out in the Himalayas, but not only do they hang out in the Himalayas, they hang out in the snow. Okay, they don't look like the G.I. Joe there. I used to like that when I was a kid. There was this guy called Snow Job, and he hung out in the snow. Anyway.
What is that?
Closer.
They remember
Oh, jeez.
Take that off my back.
And I will be interrupted by something that cool all night long. No problem.
That's their meeting.
So anyways, these guys aren't bundled up. They're in their little wool skivvies, okay? And these dudes go and they sit in the snow, okay? And they sit there and they meditate. Okay, now you and I strip down to our underwear, go sit in the snow. What's likely going to happen, Dr. Dave?
You are gonna get frostbite on
Frostbite, hypothermia, a wicked sense of the shakes. Okay, what gets better? Not only are they sitting there chilling in the snow in their skivvies, their buddies come up to them with these wet towels that they've soaked in water and throw it over the top of them. Okay, now now maybe they're martial arts monks and they fight each other at that point. Not really. Again, they're meditating on this, and they sit there and they are so focused on themselves, and they're looking inside and they're looking at their bodies, and they start to evaporate that water on those towels. If I hadn't seen it myself, I would have gone, no way. But yeah, they do it. So here they are taking themselves from a place of, I could literally freeze to death, to, hey, I'm in the underwear, my underwear in the snow with a cold towel on me, but hey, I'm good. You guys ready to experience some of that? A little bit modified version.
Okay.
Everybody stand up. Everybody stand up. Okay? We're going to do a little Jedi mind trick that I learned. I'm going to teach you guys, okay? So what I want you guys to do is get just a little bit of room so you can like swing your arm a little bit without karate chopping.
Nope.
Got a little room? Okay, so what we're going to do is you're going to take your left hand and you're going to stick that out in front of you, okay? Alright? Everybody good? Okay, now what I want you to do is I want you to keep your feet facing forward, but I want you to turn around as far as you can. Okay, as far as you can. Okay, don't anybody pop your back out of alignment or anything. But okay, is everybody as far as you can go?
Yeah.
Okay, now what I want you to do is I want you to look 6 inches past that, okay? 6 inches past where your arm is at its max, okay? Can you see it?
No.
Okay, I want you guys to come back around, look at me. Okay, so we're going to take a second, we're going to close our eyes. Everybody close your eyes, it's safe. Don't worry, we're in a safe place. Okay? Close your eyes. Now, I want you to visualize that place in your mind, that 6 inches beyond your arm, okay? As far as you could reach, okay? Do you have it?
Yeah.
Okay, reach your arm out in front of you. Open your eyes. Now turn around and touch that spot.
Whoa!
Hey! Kind of a neat little trick, huh? Okay, you guys can sit down now.
Yeah, but my eyes.
Isn't that weird? Okay, so you all just did a little bit of an experiment or a process we call transcending, okay? You went from what you thought was possible. This is as far as I can get, and then you pushed it and you went further, didn't you? Kind of cool, huh? Okay, so when we talk about our minds, you know, can you start to understand a little bit about what's possible? Anybody here ever see the movie called The Help?
Yeah.
Does anybody enjoy that movie?
No. Not really.
Okay, we have one dissenter, but I'm hearing most everybody saying, yeah, that was all right. That was a pretty good show.
Never heard of it.
What? Really?
Okay. I don't know. Maybe I.
Where have you been
I don't know
living?
if I call it a show,
Agna.
but no, I didn't have Channing Tatum in there. Forget it. Not a show.
No, very big city.
So there was a scene in that movie where Skeeter was kind of getting down on some things, and it was interesting because, boy, how many times in our lives as people living with diabetes do people talk to us? You can't have that. You shouldn't do that. Why are you doing that? You're diabetic. Anybody hear those voices? It's not always fun. It's not always fun. Sometimes it makes us angry. It's like, and I love it when I have a conversation with somebody that's not diabetic, yet they know 100 times more about diabetes than I ever will. It's like, well, wait a minute. So anyway, there's a scene in that movie where Skeeter's lady that was their kind of help, their house help, said to her, she said, every day you're not dead in the ground, you're going to have to make some choices. You're going to listen to what those fools have to say. So there's lots of voices that surround us, but more importantly, there's a little voice in our head that says yes No, no way. You know the voice I'm talking about? So here's a question. What would you do if you knew you couldn't fail? Anybody want to venture out on that one?
Everything possible. Yeah. I mean, if you knew you couldn't fail, you could do anything. Anything. I mean, you could go be a billionaire and it wouldn't matter. I mean, that's pretty big. For me, that'd be big, at least.
So what keeps you from being a billionaire right now?
Lazy, I guess. I'm being honest, right?
Absolutely.
And it takes a lot of work. I mean, it not only takes work, but then it takes like good budgeting and it takes like a bunch of other things. Because everything costs in the world. And
So you
nothing's
sit
cheap.
here and you have a plan and you tell me exactly how you're going to get from where I'm sitting right now at a camp with a bunch of my friends to being a billionaire. Along that way, anyone going to question your plan?
Oh yeah, guaranteed.
You know, there's a little kid sitting in an art class coloring, and some teacher says, you know what? That's not a very good picture. You're getting a D on this. And that kid all of a sudden thinks, I'm not an artist. Well, the same thing happens in our lives as far as life living with diabetes. Let me show you something. This is horrifying, and I can't believe I'm still willing to do this. I'll pass this around. I was kind of hoping there would be a fire, but obviously the state's on fire. This was me like 3 years ago. Okay, this is what happens when a type 1 diabetic, myself, lost that vision and started to question. Here, it's scary. Maybe we don't. No, let's not do that. That's going to give you guys nightmares. So, if anybody really wants to see, there it is. That's what happens when I started listening to some of the voices in my head. One of those voices being, doesn't matter. You can eat what you want. You just got to take the insulin for it. You just got to do this. You got to do that. You'll be fine. Well, for me and how my body worked, I just ate what I wanted, and I took the insulin, and I just started to balloon. I just started to get bigger and bigger. And at that point, I really had this belief in my head that, you know what, forget it. You're stuck. You're going to die anyway. What does it matter? So I didn't really care anymore. So that was the voice that I was listening to. But one day, another voice came into my head, and it said, okay, dude, you got a daughter. That's Katie over there. Can everybody say hi, Katie? Katie. I have a daughter that loves you most of the time when she's not being a teenager or whatever. You got a wife that loves you most of the time when she's not mad at you for something you've done. And you have a dog that, is the only thing in your universe that unconditionally loves you. So you've got to take care of these people that matter to you. And so I started doing some things, and I started listening to different voices in my head. And along the way, I started to learn some things about beliefs and the power of things. So one of the first things I did, I said, okay, I got to get off soda because little disclaimer here, I'm not telling anybody what to do. This is what worked for me. This was my experience. So if you enjoy your soda, drink your soda. I'm not telling you what to do, okay? Fair enough? Okay. So I knew that had to change. I knew how I ate had to change. I knew that my lifestyle had to change. So I started doing a few things, and my goodness, I started to drop weight, and I started to need less insulin, and certain things started to happen. But at one point in time, there was this voice that says, you can't do that. There's this little quiet one that says, why not? I can remember being here. It's a funny story. Here as a camp counselor and staff, and I had Nate's glorious job at one point in time. Hi, E.
Hey, how are you?
How you doing? And we'd talk about ideas, stuff we wanted to do, something we wanted to play with, and there was this voice that would come out of me and say, we can't do that. And Davo over here, why? What will happen? Does he still say that?
Yeah.
Why? What will happen? So I got this crazy idea that, nearly 300-pound me wanted to be a runner. Okay, why in the hell would a 300-pound man run anywhere unless he was trying to save his life because a bear or something was after him? And I decided, I'm going to go and I'm going to do this marathon, or not a marathon, I'm working on that, but a relay race that goes from Logan to Park City. Thank you. And that's exactly what I did. And running has kind of become this thing I do to ground me and to get away from the stress of life and everything. And there's this little voice in your head that sometimes it will say, you know what, you can't, why not? See, what'll happen? Why? What will happen? You guys heard that? You know what I'm talking about, or is this a crazy man up here talking to you? Okay, so what I want to talk about is limiting beliefs. Okay, so what were some of my limiting beliefs? Okay, you're diabetic, you can't do this, you can't do this, you can't do this. Any of that true? So throw it out. Somebody give me, what's a limiting belief about diabetes?
You can't eat any sugars.
Okay, can't eat any sugar. Can you eat sugar? Sure.
Can't really lead a normal life.
Can't live a normal life. Yeah, absolutely.
You can't do extraneous exercise.
Exactly. Forget it. You're diabetic. Stay on the couch. Sit down.
It's good because you can get out of the gym exercise.
Okay, did anybody here not use diabetes in school to get out of something at some point? Come on.
I got a whole list of it.
Yeah. You have something you want to share? I just saw a hand. I'm sorry.
Oh, well, yeah, I was just going to say, like, athletes.
Well, exactly. Doesn't that
There's actually one
teach
example.
people how to do exercise as an athlete?
I did a blog entry quite a while ago. Cutler is probably one of the more known. Who was it? Gordie Howe, hockey player, diabetic. Halle Berry. I mean, there's no. It's always fun to play. You know, who's the famous diabetic? Bo Diddley, Jerry Garcia. Horrible example, but diabetic. Still was very successful before he, left this world. But there's all these limiting beliefs that we give ourselves, and not necessarily just talking diabetes here. I'm just talking life in general. So again, going back to that question, what would you do if you couldn't fail? Okay, so a little exercise I did one day. You know how much, I don't know, maybe it's just me that hears voices in my head, but we have conversations with our head, inside our head all the time as we're thinking about things. Who has a really big goal that they're reaching for? Anybody want to share what that vision or what that dream is? How about you in the back? We haven't heard from you yet. I'd love to hear from you. Yes?
Be on Broadway.
You want to be on Broadway. Okay. Okay, so what would it take for you to get from where you're sitting right now to starring in a Broadway production of, I don't know, Cats?
How about Wicked?
Wicked. Okay, that works better.
Probably being in like school musicals, other musicals.
All right. Tell me this. What would stop you from doing that? A vocal injury.
Bad care of your diabetes.
Bad care of your diabetes. Okay. Well, these are some interesting things, but again, I'm kind of going live here more than I'm going diabetes. You're absolutely right, by the way. There's no right or wrong answer. What if somebody said, you know what, your vocal talent sucks. You can't dance. Did something like that derail that dream really quick? Oh, you bet. So this little exercise I did, I mean, you guys can do this or not do this. It's cool, whatever. But I carried a little card like this around with me. And I was very clear about some of my goals. Okay, so your goal is you would like to be on Broadway. So pack a card with you. You know, I'm going to challenge you on this one. Pack a card with you and keep that with you in a pocket, anywhere that you can get to it. And write down exactly what it is you want to do and how you're going to get there. Have a plan. And you know what? When the little voice comes inside your head like, oh, you can't do that, you're not a good singer. Write that down and flip it. I actually am a good singer, and I won an award when I was in second grade, and I was the greatest singer, whatever that is. And it's really neat what starts to happen when you start to catch yourself on your limiting beliefs and your negative beliefs that are keeping you from where you want to be. Anybody remember The Little Engine That Could?
Yeah.
I love that story. Yes, it is a kid's story, but it is so applicable to life. So does anybody not know that story? Okay, well, I'm just going to give you a really quick synopsis of this story. Really quick, okay? There's a train that breaks down. This train is going up and over a mountain to a town. On the other side of this mountain is a town with kids. That train